Hello and welcome to Flight Sim Alaska. I'm Dave, the armchair bush pilot. Today we're in Seward, Alaska. Now, if you watched my videos before, you know that I've flown through here and the simulator does not have Seward rendered in. However, I took a couple of days to learn how to use the SDK, and here we are. I now have an airport. It's not great, but you can land on it. So, let's get this aircraft into the air. So now when I first flew down here, I was really disappointed to find that there was no airport, and I kind of sort of wondered if it had to do with the poor imagery, because Seward doesn't have the greatest of imagery. It's okay. You can see the trees out there. They're pretty okay. But then I sort of started to wonder if maybe it didn't have more to do with the fact that this particular airport floods pretty much every year, anytime we have a super high tide. Maybe that's kind of exaggerating, but I do know that the longer of the two runways was sort of inoperable for a long time. It might very well still be. So this is what I did. I made the airport along with my son. He gave me a hand doing it. It's not fantastic. There's a good chance I'm going to be doing a lot more of these. I just thought what we do for this video is we go ahead and get in the air, talk about Seward a little bit more, and that would pretty much do us. Now there are, like I said, problems here with this airport, and you can actually see them right now. Part of this is just me not knowing how the heck to do this. Use the SDK, and I'm sure I'll get better at it. As you can see here, I've got elevation issues, which I did try to fix, but it turns out it's harder to fix than you might imagine. And I would imagine that doing one of these properly takes just ages. I will fix this one of these days, though, I think. So cool. Let's go ahead and line up here. You see there's a bunch of other terrain stuff that's still problematic, and I didn't do my taxiways all the way right, but it's okay. Cool, so let's go ahead and throttle up. So here we are, pointed towards Resurrection Bay. You can see usually the bay from the out the end of the runway. The runway's more or less level. That is to say flat, I guess. I don't know. It's essentially at sea level. This is why you get the issue with flooding and so on. Try to get in the air here, and of course you'll notice water issues as we take off the end of the runway. And at some point I'll probably go ahead and improve this airport once I learn a little bit more. Maybe do a few more of these and figure out how this is really supposed to be done. And probably I'll be spending my time focusing on Prince William Sound, as that particular region got really messed up. It's just not in the sim at all. See, look at this, all this weird water stuff. I did try to fix it, and that wasn't going to happen. It was just too difficult for me, and I think limitations with the development kit. Okay, cool. So let's turn around and look at Seward. We'll go ahead and fly around there and talk about it a little bit. Pardon me while I try to manage this thing. I probably should have picked a slightly different aircraft. I just happen to like this one. So I did add a little bit of features, just to make it seem more Sewardy. You can see the coal ship down there, and the cruise ship. It's pretty standard. I don't know why it's squawking at me here. The small boat harbor, sort of a seawall all around that. I did make that. You can see it's not perfect. The closer we get, I think the better it looks. Yeah, and that's just, rocks, gravel stacked up like 10, 20 feet, something like this. And then I added some buildings. And I didn't add that many buildings in. And I did also fix some artifacts with the first and second leg back there up against the mountain. It's not perfect, but it's better. And this is all full of houses and buildings all through here. And I couldn't figure out how to add enough different kind of buildings. And so that's kind of where that's at. This is meant to be the hospital up here. Lowell Canyon. There's that Mountain Marathon race that comes up to the top of Mount Marathon every year. Now, one thing that did render it fairly well that I didn't do anything with was this Alaska Sea Life Center right here. Called Lowell Point Road. That actually came in fairly well. And I added a bunch of traffic in there because that's a thing you can do as well. That's meant to be a hotel. It's not that big, but I did add that actually. Kind of see waves there. That looks pretty neat. So anyway, that's Seward. That's the mod that I made so that I could take off and land here. Likely to do more of those. I just kind of wanted to show that off because I was so darn disappointed when I flew through here the first time and did not see our Seward airport. So if you're curious, I'll throw a card up there. Check out that flight from Trail Lake out to Fox Island. We go past Seward. The intent had been, of course, to stop in Seward. That wasn't going to happen. So there we are. And there's our airport. cruise ships and the whole 9 yards. I'm pretty excited about this. This is pretty neat stuff. Anyhow, I think that's enough for today. Short video this week. Next week, hopefully, I'll have a flight from Merrill Field out to Talkeetna, Alaska. We'll talk about the local Tenina folks and some of the history. But for now, I think I'll just go ahead and leave you with this, and we'll get on the ground. And thanks so much for hanging out with me. If you enjoyed this, leave me a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.